Welcome back to 740E Podcast, where what happened, happened. I'm your host, Darshawn. We're going to talk about what happened. We're along with my co-host, Jay.
Whoa. I can introduce myself, brother man. With your co-host, Dre.
And we have a special guest. We got Will joining us today, the CEO of New Horizon Medical, a great father, a great husband, a great donor of UNLV, and someone all around with just great energy. Welcome.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here.
Of course.
What an introduction.
I don't think I get that shit to nobody else.
You damn near gave him an all-star, goddamn NBA introduction.
Hey, I feel like it was worth it. It was
Two-time MVP.
Stupid. So you said, I know we was just talking off camera, you play sports. So in a Final Four coming up, who you got?
UConn.
Over Arizona?
Yeah, I got UConn. Yeah.
I have not even been following March Madness, which is crazy because I'm always like a basketball fanatic, but bro,
Yeah.
I have not been following that shit.
I've been super busy this year, so I haven't had as much time to follow it. But I picked UConn, and the reason is just the fact that, like, if you watch that game against Duke, it's like they expect to win. They're a winning culture. So, like, to them, it's like not winning is like we're UConn. Of course we're going to win.
Yeah, but
It's
they
where
didn't make
you
it.
get teams like Arizona. Arizona's never really been very good in my lifetime. They've been okay, but they've never been great. You got Illinois. Illinois is kind of a sleeper, but they're kind of a sleeper because they got those 4 international players.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are
I
weird
think
to play
Illinois,
against.
it's going to be Illinois and Arizona. I think those two will take over.
I don't think UConn. I think UConn's going to win it.
UConn barely got by. That little shot was real luck.
Yeah, but look at a lot of the champions. Most of them do barely get by. That's what determines the champions, who can win the close games, not who can win the blowouts.
Hey, that's real. That's real.
Yeah.
I'll still take Arizona. They got what's his name? LeBron's son, Bryce over there.
Yeah.
That's winning
Arizona.
culture.
Oh, Bryce-
That's winning
Bryce
culture.
over
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I might just have to go with
You a fucking bandwagon.
Nah,
you ain't a
he
real sports
cold,
fanatic.
bro. Like, he better than Bronny in my eyes.
I think
I mean, anyone can win. It's the Final Four, so all 4 of those teams are good. But me personally, I got UConn. I think culture, just like winning cultures, usually win. Like you look at their coach. Their coach isn't gonna let him lose. Like he's gonna push them. Didn't he come nose to nose with the referee after?
yeah, he did. I thought he headbutted him
Yeah,
at
I did
first,
too.
but then he put his nose. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, like
But I guess that's how they talk and they knew each other.
Yeah,
so
and that like intensity is sometimes that's the difference. You know.
that's to make or break the player.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're a car guy. You're a car enthusiast. What's your favorite car right now
That I have.
that you have?
Well, I guess it's got to be the SF90 Spider. I got 2 of them. I got one here, one in Miami. So obviously, I mean, I got 2 of the same car. Obviously, that's my favorite, I'd say. But it's not real practical. So like, if I had to pick a practical car, it'd have to be like probably the Ghost. I have a Phantom and a Ghost, but the Ghost is like easier to drive. The Phantom's like driving a big ass like SUV.
Yeah, but that's top of the top.
That's-
It is, but it doesn't
shit.
fit in the parking spot. Like who was it? Meek Mill said
Well, you
Phantom
got
don't
the
fit in the parking
extended
spot.
wheelbase.
No, the regular one doesn't fit in the parking spot.
What?
If I drove the Phantom down here today, like I couldn't fit in the parking spot. That thing's gonna hang like 3 feet into the street every time.
Oh, so that's why I see everybody with a Phantom parking handicap.
Yeah, you can't fit. even my garage, it doesn't even fit in my garage. Like the Escalade will fit, but the Phantom won't. So the Phantom has to be outside all the time.
There you go. So Spider the
That's
favorite. So what's
crazy.
the goal? What's your dream car?
Shit,
Probably
he
a
already got it.
LaFerrari Aperta, but that's like $7 million. So that's the convertible LaFerrari. But they're like $7-8 million right now.
Didn't
So-
you had the Pergus too, right?
Parasangue, I got that still. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
20 cars right now.
So what's the most expensive car you bought? Because all them shits is exotic cars and all this luxury
So
cars.
it depends, like from like MSRP, like what it's worth or what I paid for it, because there's a difference.
Ooh.
Because like when I bought the Parasangue, I was the first one to have it in the Western U.S., so I paid like right around $1 million for it. It's probably worth like 6 something now. I didn't care because I wanted to have it first. But if you talk about like MSRP, I think my SF90 Spider, the recent one I got, I want to say that was like $775 MSRP.
That's the one you got matte black.
Yeah, so I got one that's wrapped matte black and it's
Yeah.
actually gloss black, and then I got one and it's red inside with the Daytona seats, which are comfortable. Which if you like have been in like the Ferrari seats, like the Daytonas are cool. The other one I got, it's matte black factory, and then it's like a black with like yellow trim inside, and then it's got the carbon racing seats, which they look cool, but they're so fucking uncomfortable, man.
Yeah.
They're so uncomfortable. Like I can drive the Daytona ones around like all day. That's why I took that to Miami. Where I only have 2 cars, so if I need to drive it, I'm comfortable. The one I have here, it's like I drive it for fun, but I'm not gonna drive it around town for anything.
So
That'd be
like
hurting.
as an everyday, like I always feel like when you get like an exotic car,
Yeah.
you always gotta. For me, I'm a aware person. Like I'm a sense of like urgency, and I'm always on my toes. even if I'm driving my car,
Mm-hmm.
like when you're in that type of car in that space, do you feel like there's always a target?
Like on me,
Like, yeah, because you have that type of car.
I mean, I kind of feel like that anyway.
Mm.
Like the weird thing is because I didn't grow up with any money. Like I didn't grow up the poorest, but I didn't grow up with like trust funds or any of that stuff. So like, I think my mom when I was growing up, she had like a Dodge Caravan, and my dad had like a Lincoln. And then when they got like a little more successful, I think my dad had like an older Mercedes, and my mom had a. I don't remember what she had. I don't remember, but nothing. It was nothing crazy. So, like you see people that have this nice stuff, and you think like, oh man, that's so cool, but you don't realize all the stuff that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And as crazy as it sounds, there's a big difference. Like I have friends that might have like a Urus or a Maybach or something, but it's different to have like one of those versus having like 20 people start to notice.
Right.
And so the risk is like that. Like I had, just last year, I had 2 attempted home invasions last year at one of my houses. So that's why like I always have full-time security.
Mm-hmm.
All that
Shout
kind
out
of
Full
stuff.
Force too.
Yeah,
hell of a team.
Yeah.
Hell of a guy.
Yeah, so I don't want to get into details of that stuff because there's
Mhm.
still like a lot of court stuff going on, but there's always a target, so like you have to be aware. If you're driving those kind of cars, you have to be aware. So I have low-key cars I drive around that look
Mhm.
like, they'll be like Mercedes level nice or BMWs, but it's like they'll look stock, so it'll blend in on the road. Because you drive around a Mansory Phantom or SF90, it's not blending in anywhere.
Yeah, no,
Right.
yeah.
I always wondered that because, like, I was like, man, you get to a
Mhm.
certain type of level, and then, like, I'll see, like, A.J. Brown from the
Yeah.
Eagles. I seen him driving a Honda. He was like,
Mhm.
bro, I got a Honda. I want to get around. I don't want to always be noticed.
Yeah.
So
That's
is
why-
that a big thing, too?
Yeah, you get noticed. Some like it's kind of fun at first. I think at first it's like you're like, oh man, I'm getting noticed. You kind of start to feel like a somebody, but then after a while you start to realize like people noticing you is not always with good intention.
Yeah,
Right.
like it
Like-
starts to get old.
Well, it's like yeah, like 2 things. Like number one, like I can just give you an example. Like my birthday party, it was like a Moroccan themed or whatever. So I'm like dressed up like a Moroccan, big head wrap and stuff. Man, I'm just trying to have a good time. My birthday party, had a few drinks. People are coming over asking me about like jobs and investments and stuff.
Like,
I'm
it's
not
just
here for that.
Time and
I'm standing here
place.
looking like a fucking genie. You think I'm here to talk about business? You know, and I'm just like in my
trying to
head.
have a good time.
Yeah,
man.
and I'll tell you this: like people who think that way, it's cool to look for opportunities. I don't mind it in the appropriate setting, but like when I'm drunk and dressed like a genie, it's probably not common
best
sense to
time.
say this is the
Yeah.
best time. So I'm instantly gonna write that off. Like you don't have common sense.
Of course.
And then on the other side, so you have people like that that are just, they're harmless. They're just trying to elevate, which I respect. But then you have the other crew or the other group that like that segment is looking for a come up that are you have to be aware because they're gonna try and steal, rob, kidnap, whatever it takes to make money. So
Right.
like a lot of things people don't even know is like, and I'm not saying I have this, but there's a like insurance is called like K&R, which is like kidnapping and ransom
Right.
insurance.
Mhm.
So it's like if someone kidnaps me or someone in my family and I had this insurance, which I'm not saying I do, I don't think I have it, but what it does is it's like basically they have like their own negotiator, crisis and all that, because they might say don't call the police.
Right.
So they have their own team that does it all, and then they'll pay the ransom. So like there's stuff like that that comes with like certain levels of success people don't think about, because what people think about as success is like the guy that maybe has like he has a Lamborghini in the garage and lives down the street. But when you start getting to like the upper echelons, you don't usually see those people.
Absolutely. That's crazy that you think about it, because those are like the questions that I think
Mhm.
about, because I always think about, and I've been around those type of rooms and those
Yeah.
things, and those people are just different. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, the watch. I heard watches speak volume. Like when you go in the room and everybody, yeah, I seen
I
that.
noticed
shit.
I was saying what I had on was
Look, he's,
I looked. I was like, "What do I have on today?"
watches speak volume. So
Mhm.
like when I go hang out with a bunch of people, and I've been in a room where everybody has Rolexes on,
Mhm.
but they got them bedazzled out or whatever. They're not worth anything. But then
Nah,
you
people
go
don't
in
realize
a
that.
different type of room, it's plain Jane,
Mhm.
everything, and those are worth way more. And those are different type of conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I noticed about being around certain people as well, and I think that's dope. So like, in your watch collection, what was like your first watch that you got that you felt like,
So-
yeah, I made it?
So that's funny. It's a 2-part question. So like, I've been into watches since I was a kid. So
Mhm.
like when I was young, I used to have like Timexes and like those little brands that you get like at the outlet mall.
Mhm.
And I think like the
You have
watches
that
I-
G-Shock? You gotta have a
I had a
G-Shock.
G-Shock,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And then like,
Yeah.
then I started getting the watches that were like maybe that little notch up. It was like I got like Movados and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And then probably when I came back, I bought like my first like $1,000 watches. This is Concord, which Concord was like an old brand that used to be like with Rolex. And then when I started making more money, I think the first one I got was I think it was just a Rolex Datejust, like a 41 with I think it was a 2-tone. I got that. It was maybe like 10,000 maybe.
When that first hit your wrist, what'd that feel like?
The first time's always the most exciting. Like
Yeah.
it feels like you hit a milestone. Like, man, I hit a milestone,
Mhm.
and you feel like, man, this is so expensive. This is crazy. And then as you kind of, and this is the problem, as you start getting in different rooms, it's kind of like you unlock new levels. So it's kind of like
Right.
your $10,000 watch now is like, that was like my pinnacle at one point. I don't think I even have a watch for $10,000 anymore. You know,
Elevation.
and that's
Different
what happens.
rooms.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's like the same with cars. Like you think a Mercedes, like a S class, is like 150 grand,
Mm-hmm.
and then you think like, man, a $250,000 is crazy, like a Urus, and you realize like when you start getting the exotic car collector game, like 250 is like entry level. Like most Ferraris, even if you look at the base price MSRP, that's with no options. By the time you option them out, they're 600,000, 700,000. And then it's like then if you go that next level, which I haven't done yet, but then you get into like special editions and collectibles, they hit like 1 million plus. Like they go up to 20-30 million dollars. Like I think a Daytona SP3 sold at auction for like 22.5 million this year or last year.
Oh, my Lord.
So like that's what you realize is like money and wealth. There's levels to it. It's insane.
Yeah.
That they say that.
Mhm.
So with like your New Horizon,
Yeah.
what's next? What do you see that in
So
5 years?
man, we always make the joke that we age in dog years at New Horizon because it's like the company's 3 years old and we went from zero being like a 3-man operation. We have 160 employees now and did 1.9
In 3
billion.
years?
Yeah, we did 1.9 billion last year in top line revenue. So like we always make the joke like it's like the company grows in dog years. So 5 years is hard to project. This year, I just made the transition from like away from contracted sales forces like 1099s to W2s. We just launched that on Monday. Got like another 20 coming, so we'll hit 200 employees this year.
Congrats,
Pretty easy.
man.
Thank
That's
you.
dope.
Congratulations, brother.
Thanks. So we're gonna have our own sales force around the U.S. We already got that. We're gonna expand on that and just make sure we're like in every major metro. And then after that, we'll probably work. I'm working with the city right now and a few developers to bring like build a campus for us.
Mhm.
The campus is gonna be our headquarters, and then have like device manufacturing and tissue processing all in the same place.
Mhm.
So we'll be the first in the state to do that. But that's like a $50 million investment. So I'm trying to get a developer to fund it or the city to fund it, so I don't have to pay for it.
Of course. So how did you get into like medical? Like, was there like a backstory, or you just fall in your lap? Because
Now, there's a backstory. So, my dad was in medical devices
Mhm.
since I was a kid, pretty much my whole life. And
not
then
like
my-
the pursuit of happiness like type story.
No, no,
thing.
not like that.
You
No,
know
no, he
what
didn't
I'm
sleep in any
saying?
bathrooms or anything. But he was just like selling, I think it was like pain management devices and stuff in surgery. And so, like, I grew up around it. And then my mom was sick since I was like 8. She had cancer, and then she had a liver transplant later. But so I always just grew up around medicine. So I said I wanted to be a doctor. And I went to school, and I didn't finish. I did molecular and microbiology in Australia. And then I didn't finish, so I left. And I was like, I'm going to get into medical sales. So I went, took some sales jobs, built my resume up, got hired by a company called Stryker. I don't know if I should say this on camera, but lied about my resume, said I had a degree. And they hired me. I was in Australia, so I said I went to UNLV. Like, they're not going to check.
Right.
And I thought, it was a funny story. I was like, what school should I say I went to? And I'm like, well, I got to pick a school I at least know basics in case, like, coincidentally I run into someone who went there. I can at least, like, say where it is.
Yeah.
So I picked UNLV, got hired, started my career there as an associate, was there for like a year, went to like a couple other companies, came back to the U.S., and then a few years later I started this, and it went from 0 to 1.9 billion last year.
That's crazy. So
But there goes to show you don't need a fucking degree to do.
No,
You don't really need it. Like, you need it, but, like, really you
I don't have
'cause-
one. Neither does my COO. We went to high school together. Neither one of us have a degree. He was bussing tables at Omnia when we first started this. And now I have people like, we have, Ivy League educated attorneys that work for me. I think I got 2 of those. I got multiple MBAs. People in hedge funds in New York come out. Like, as weird as it sounds, I'm like looked at as like one of the preeminent like leaders in wound care, which is kind of weird. But I don't have a degree, so now I'm pretty open about it because I don't like.
now,
Doesn't really
yeah,
matter.
It does too
you
late now.
already reached
It
that
don't matter
level.
now.
But entry, he was
Yeah.
like, shit, I got a degree.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But I got to my last semester, and then I just had to do unpaid internship, which I never did because I had a daughter at the time, so I was like, I can't not work. So that's the only reason I didn't finish.
Hey, congrats. How many what's your core family like?
So I got my mom, my dad. I got a half brother from my dad. I got a full sister. My brother's older. He's 38. He's 6 years older than me. My sister's 6 years younger, so she's 25-ish, 26 I think in October. And then I got an adopted brother who's in Australia, who I'm close with, who's 38. And there's me, and then my half brother has no kids. My sister has 2. I have 2, plus a step, and then my brother has 2. So
Man, that's dope. A big family.
Big family.
And I always ask. Anytime we get somebody successful or anything,
mhm.
was family supportive of the?
To a degree. I don't think they had the same vision for how big it could get as I did. So supportive, yeah, but I think that's just because like when I started this, nobody had any money. Everyone was just trying to like make it work. So when we got started, I think everybody was just kind of like, man, like a paycheck, great, get paid. So I think they were supportive of that aspect. When I started like wanting to make it like go national and go all these things, I think there was a lot of like disbelief that could happen. So I don't think they were supportive in that part. But the thing that my brother definitely was, he was actually my first employee, my half brother. My sister definitely was, but I don't think any of us knew how big it was going to get.
Right.
So last year, kind of at our peak, I decided like, you hit this weird point with family when they work for you. It's like, okay, what do you do? Or any employees in your early days. So anyone who has a startup probably has experienced this. Like, you bring in your first 5 people, you're just taking whoever you can get. Then as it gets bigger and it grows, you're like, okay, I got to bring in like legitimate, like trained experts now.
People that know the field and the area.
Yeah, and then you start bringing them in. It's like, okay, the company gets bigger. What do you do with those original 5? Because if they don't have the skill set to raise up, they hit a ceiling. So like, what do you do with that? It's like, well, you can fire them, but that's kind of like no one wants to do that.
Yeah, and they started it with you.
Yeah, you can keep them where they are, which is ideal if they're the type of people who are okay with that. Because you have certain people that are there since day one that kind of feel like now they have some sort of like,
hey, this is our company now.
Yeah, they're like, well, I was here first.
Since day one.
Yeah, I was here since day one. I should be up at the top with you. It's like, well, you're not qualified. Like, you can't do the job. So I have to get someone who can do the job. So like, I had those issues with my siblings to some degree. Like, my sister was doing marketing, but the marketing became much more complex. My brother was running logistics, but that became much more complex. And he was doing a good job, but it's like with him specifically, I'm like, well, he's gonna be the only one in the family that's down here 8, 9, 10 hours a day to get his check. So I actually just bought my sister and my brother a house in like June, July last year. I bought them both a house, and my brother in Australia, paid cash for them. And then I let the ones that worked for me, I just let them keep their monthly check and was like, just go home.
Right.
So they still basically get paid. So they're getting success of the company without necessarily being, owners, but they're getting the benefits because they helped me build it.
Taking care of the foundation.
Yeah.
Still,
Right.
that's dope. I always wondered, like me and him, like we go way back.
Yeah.
And I tell him, like, hey, if this thing ever goes crazy, just know it's forever us. Like, will you help me build this? You see my vision? Because, like, a lot of people will tell me this and that, but, like, they be like, hey, do this, but I don't want that. Like, I want to be authentic. I want to be raw with it. And then I'm like, I'm putting my own money up. Yeah. Right? Like, nobody's funding that. Like, I worked 3 jobs to fund this, like, on my side, but I know what it's going to pay off. And I'm looking at the end goal. I'm like, I know what I can do. But when you talk about family, you tell them, they be like, nah, you putting all that money into there, you pouring it into there.
Well, that's what happens. Like also the goals have to align, right? Like, if you have an image, like, I'm going to keep, like, if your goal is, like, I'm going to keep reinvesting and growing this thing to become, like a big, international podcast or whatever it is, production company. But your goal is, like, man, I just want to make a little extra money. Like, there's going to be a point where someone's going to have to give something, whether you're going to give more or, you're going to have to kind of leave him behind to some degree if that happens. Like, the goals have to align.
Of course.
And then both people have to just understand that, like, the goals may not align, which is fine, but the roles may change. So, like, if you want to make a production company and start making movies and you don't, it's like, well, at some point maybe you run the podcast and you'll be off making a production company, but like the ownership or the profit division may be different if you're generating 100 million and you're generating 5. So like that's where it can get complicated when you have partners or family or friends that kind of with you day one.
Money is we always talk about this. Ask the
money
question.
Is the root of all fucking evil.
But does money ask him? Ask him the question.
Yeah. Because every time we get on this motherfucker and everybody who got money and all that shit, we ask them, bro, do money buy happiness? Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I think to a point, like, people who say money doesn't buy happiness, they're lying, because it does to a point. But like, there's a point where it doesn't. So like, what I mean by that is, like, I found that, like, my happiness increased exponentially, like, with my income up until I probably hit a certain income level, and then at that you're like, what do I do with it? So
because you did every fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, it's like, pretty much it's like cars, like 20. I have 20. It's excessive. Watches, I probably got 7 or 8 million in jewelry, like, between me and my wife. Like, it's excessive. Houses, like, I got 6 or 7. It's like, at a point, it's like, okay, what do you do with it? So it doesn't really make you happy, but I can tell you that I'm a hell of a lot happier than I was when, like, a flat tire, like, when a flat tire would have disrupted my life, or, like, I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent, or I'm like, damn, my car, I need to get a service, but I got to wait till my next check. Like, yeah, at that point, your money's really growing. They used to say it was $72,000. I think that's way too low. I'd say probably, like, realistically, I'd say like $20,000 a month in today's world, you're pretty damn comfortable. If you get to like 40 or 50, and I'm talking take home, 40 or 50, you can kind of do whatever you want within, kind of the normal realm of things. And if you get to 100, that's pretty much like you can do whatever you want at 100 million or 100,000 a month. So that's kind of the levels. Like 72,000 a year is like maybe 30 years ago, maybe, but not today.
Yeah, today's world, I think everything is like with the shit. Look at gas right now.
Yeah.
Gas is crazy.
Yeah, gas is like what, $6? I don't pump my own gas anymore, so
Oh,
I don't know what
shit.
it costs. I think it's
He's in the back
$6, right?
seat. He don't know.
No, I got someone that comes to my house and they clean
Oh, you
the
got the
cars.
mobile.
Yeah, they clean my cars and then they take them to the services and get gas in them. So like when I come out in the morning, my cars are gassed up ready
Oh,
to go
this
every
guy
day.
got it all.
See, that's a
Like,
different
But
level.
well,
See, I didn't even know that was a
different
service.
level.
I seen
Well,
it, but I didn't know if it was real.
So you
know,
got to hire
AIs
people to do it. Like I have like 30 people that operate at my house and do all this kind of stuff for me. I have like 10 security, nannies, housekeepers, estate managers, assistants. Like they do all that stuff. So like I can focus on doing what I need to do, which is the business.
So you mentioned security. How did it go about, like, getting security is like, to me, because my dad was in the field, he did private contracting, he did embassy. So for me, it's like, how do you trust that person?
So it's funny, like everyone asks that, and it's hard. I've had security guards that like I'm dealing with a situation now where I had to terminate a guy for breaching a lot of his stuff and a lot of stuff he wasn't supposed to be doing. So I terminated him, sued him, reported him, like kind of destroying the guy. Which is also one thing, if I can tell people, it's like it's really, and this isn't just because I'm in the driver's seat, but it's not a good idea to like start messing with people who have a lot more money than you do.
Right.
Because it's like, I mean, if I want to just attack you from like every angle, there's not much you can do about it. Like I can spend $5 million just to make you a project. Like not a lot of people can combat that. And then there's a level, obviously there's levels above me too, but like in day-to-day life, like a security guard, pretty much just destroy your life if I want to. You know? So that's the thing is you have to understand that there's like, you have to hire professionals. You have to kind of do character evaluation. You got to make sure they're being managed by someone you trust. And then there's just an element of faith, right? You have to have faith. It's like you won't really know. Like, I had a situation where we had someone try to do a home. Two guys tried to do a home. Well, a guy in a she thing, I guess. I don't know. She was trans, so Alexis, Ralph, whatever the hell his name was. They jumped the fence. Yeah, they jumped the fence. And I guess they were lovers that met in prison. But anyway, they jumped the fence and tried to do like a whole home invasion thing with guns and all that, but they encountered my security team on the way. So like, woke up it was only like midnight. I had a work event that night, September 6th, because I remember it, and they had an exchange of gunshots in the back. You know, like my security won. They didn't. They survived it though, so like they had to go to court. So it would have been a lot easier for me if they didn't, honestly. But like I think after that you have a little bit more trust on like the team, and then when that happens, you see them. They come and like drop what they're doing. There's like 20 guys down there,
And it's
So you
battle
start to-
tested.
yeah, you
so
start to-
once you go through it,
Yeah.
you know he's stuck with you. If you
Yeah,
can go through
exactly.
that and you survive that for me, then I can trust you.
Yeah, like you had a full shootout with two. You know, it's pretty much like like when people think of like, oh, what could go wrong in the middle of the night? It's pretty much like the worst case. Like it was like two, like very deranged criminals that jumped the fence. I think like they'd done time for like rape, robbery, attempted murder. They had guns. They were like all like black masks, black outfits and shit. They scoped the house, and it's funny. Like one of the guards said, he's like, I don't know, I have a weird feeling that something's gonna happen. We were all kind of having that feeling. Couldn't figure out why until that happened. And then we realized they had driven past the house 23 times. So not very good at it because they didn't realize we had 24-hour security. But it's like I think we were probably like noticing the same car or the same person, but maybe not like really registering it. But just subconsciously like they keep passing by here. So yeah, I think after that you have a lot of faith in the
that's
security.
definitely dope. Shout
Yeah.
out Full Force. I'm telling you, get
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
They're building a hell of a team too.
Yeah, Dre's been my security since day one. I haven't had any other security besides him. So
Yeah,
in other states I have because I've used other contractors, but like I met Dre at I was at a club actually before I had security, before I really had any cars or anything. I was there with a friend. We walked into a club and I just started talking to him. He's like, hey, if you ever need security, call me. So I think he did my bachelor party first. He was just working the door. And then we were going out and me and my wife had this big ass brawl at McFadden's at Town Square. And I ended up hitting the guy with the hookah and like his hair
seen
caught on
that
fire.
video.
Yeah, his hair caught on fire and it was a big mess. And the only thing I don't like about the video, the way they captured the video, it looks like at the end he hits me with a punch, knocks me out. He doesn't. Like he hit me like a forearm in the back of the neck, and there's shit everywhere. So when I turn around to try and hit him back, I slipped on a bucket.
Right.
And then like there's another video you see me get up, and then I'm looking for him. They ran. He did like a hit and run.
He got the fuck out of there.
Yeah, he did. He hit me, and I ate it. And then he's like, "Oh shit!" So then he ran.
Said, oh shit,
He
he
got
ate
on.
that. Let's
yeah.
go.
Because that kind of pissed me off. I was like, man, you didn't have the whole video. And then there were so many different people trying to fight us at that point because they had a big group. I didn't know they went right. I thought they went left. So I get up and look left. So I didn't know where they were. So, but after that, I was like, yeah, I should probably get security. Like, I'm here fighting dudes that don't have a car. So my business wasn't that big yet. It was like just getting. I don't even know if it existed yet, actually. I think it did, but it was like early days. So I hired Dre, and he started coming out when I did nightclubs. Then business got bigger. I bought my house, renovated it. When we were moving into the new house, the gates were open to move and stuff, and I was getting a haircut. My wife called me and said, hey, some weird guy tried to come in the house. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. What's going on? So ended up, she called the cops. They didn't come. The movers who were moving in called and said, hey, we had to get this guy out of the house. He's really weird. So, like, we're going to stay until you or the police come. I was like, thank you. So I come back. As I pull up, this guy pulls up behind me. And anyway, there was a bit of a confrontation. Ended up with me firing a shot at him. And then after that, I was like, all right, I'm just going to get security for the house. So we hired the first security company to do the house. And it turned out that they were fraudulent, basically. Like, I just was like $20 an hour, and they were fraudulent. They were all like felons and shit, so I fired them.
Oh, you got some raw security up in there.
Yeah,
it was like Ross all, in Burlington.
It was all made up, so we fired them. And then I brought in, Dre found some guys that I hired directly to just do my house. And then when Dre got his hours or whatever, because he was working security for me at New Horizon there, once he got his license to be like a company, because he was already a guard, but he had to have like a company license. So you got to have all this stuff. So then once he got that, obviously he rolled those people under his insurance and everything, and now he manages all that. There's like 10 guys at my house pretty consistently, like teams of 2.
That's
so
dope,
we used to run 1, and then after that home invasion, we started running 2.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Definitely. And you put a lot of people on, a lot of people in position. It's
Yeah.
not what the internet shows, but I know some of the stories.
Yeah.
Like with Joe and everybody. Man, you put a lot of people in position and a lot of people on. And I just want to give you your flowers for that, because like a lot of people don't say that on the internet. You don't see that, but like you do a lot for like a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't tell people's business, but yeah, there's a lot of people that are definitely better off. You know.
But I'm from Vegas, so I know a lot of people that are like, hey, yeah, man, this man put me in position. I'm like, damn, that's dope. But to see that from like a genuine guy with asking with nothing in return just to do it out of love, I mean, you don't see that nowadays.
Yeah, it's like, well,
people do things to put
with intent,
like, throw it in your face afterwards, or like ill intentions after, like, I don't know, like certain shit, bro. I just don't.
Well, you gotta know the people who are like actually genuinely trying to help because that's just what they want to do, versus people who like either want to have like something over you or to be able to use helping you as a way to brag for themselves. Like,
But it's hard to find people like that. Like nowadays, you can't tell what anyone's intentions is. So that's why
it's
like,
hard to tell. Yeah,
so it's like, bro, you just gotta, like you said, have faith and hope for the best. But like, I got a lot of trust issues. I can't trust a motherfucker. Like, I've known him since like middle school, high school days. So like, it's hard to get into my circle. Like, I don't trust people easily. So it's like,
with the topic of trust, having that right person by your side, your wife.
Yeah.
Like, were you guys together since high school, or like, how did that come about?
So,
because having a partner is like the best thing in your life.
So I met her probably like my sophomore year when I went to Liberty. It was when I started Liberty. So we had, her last name was Hawkins, mine was Hall, so we're in the same homeroom. And she came in like, I was already there like half asleep. She came in late with attitude, getting the teacher attitude, so I like took notice of her. And then I didn't really meet her until probably like my junior year. And then my junior year, I was a student aide in like a law class, and she was one of the students. And she was like, she like knew one of my friends, so like I would sit over there and talk to him and stuff. So I met her that way. And then one day I was driving to Walmart down on Bermuda and Silverado because we all lived down there. I was driving, I started walking, so I was like, hey, I'm going to Walmart. You want to ride? So shopped in the car, we went there. Ended up like running into places, like she worked at like the movie theater, and my basketball facility where I trained was across from Town Square, the movie theater.
A lot of coincidences.
So then I would like, there's a lot of coincidences.
Sounds like fate.
I'd just be like, like if you're done when I'm leaving, I'll just take you home on the way. It's not a big deal. So then we kind of started off as friends, and it like developed into something more. We ended up going to prom together our senior year, and then after high school, I went to Australia. I was supposed to get an apartment with her, but I left, but she still doesn't let me forget. But I left and went to Australia. So we kind of like, we were sort of in contact, like occasionally just like, oh, how you been on LinkedIn or whatever. But it was rare. She was married. I was in a relationship. Came back in 2017, saw her briefly. Then 2019, I moved back. I saw her briefly, but I was like, we actually went to, this is a funny story actually. We went to, she said she was going to go to Hot and Juicy, and I was like, oh, well, pick me up, I'll come with you. I didn't know what Hot and Juicy was because I just got here. So we went to that one off the strip there, kind of in Planet Hollywood. Man, I got in there and saw the prices, and I was like,
oh, shit.
I was like, oh.
No, he said, water with lemon, please.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even, it was worse than that. I just told her, I was like, yeah, I'm not paying for this. This is too much. I was like, I didn't know it was this much. So she was like, all right, we go to McDonald's. So I was right next to us. All right, cool. So we went to McDonald's. We ordered, and she was like, "Can I get a large?"
Price range.
I remember I said, "Damn, I'm not that broke." Jesus, yeah, you get a large. I was like, "I just want to spend $200 on a meal." So
that's dope though.
yeah.
Like, that's dope. That's real genuine. Because like today's world, you'll never find a girl like that.
Yeah.
Nah,
I ain't gonna, our generation is cooked.
Yeah, I know.
Nah, this generation is awful. Bad.
It's like
So,
bad
look,
for us.
He's one of the lucky few to find his before the riches. Like,
Yeah.
You finding your shits before or after the riches, like it's
hard.
It's a lot of.
It's hard to know if it's authentic.
Yeah, like it's a lot of what ifs. Like,
Mhm.
what if I wasn't rich? Would you still be with me? Like, what if you know what I mean? So it's like
I learned one thing through all that. As long as I don't get a girl pregnant from California, because goddamn, that child support 50%.
Yeah, no,
like I seen like Anthony Edwards and everything like that. I seen that shit was crazy to me.
Yeah, that's.
Well,
Hey, Anthony Edwards said.
He said, "I'll pay that shit up front." He was
Yeah,
like,
man,
"You can have that
it's
He
shit."
paid. I think he paid for like the year.
The whole 18 years.
Yeah, I
He
think he
just
paid
gave
for
her
the
a
whole
check.
18 years, and just said after this, don't contact me.
It's smart though, because you have to kind of like build in. It's taken care of. You don't have to worry about
Yeah.
them. If your income drops and you don't make that money, it's taken care of. Cause
Already, yeah, but it's like, bro, you know.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, right? California's nuts.
That is so.
Texas has a good law. Texas does. I think it caps at like $2,200 in cash, and then anything after that, it's like they'll just be like let's say if my daughter does live in Texas with her mom. Like let's say if it's like private school, they'll be like, hey, you pay for the private school, or she wants tutoring. Hey, you're paying for tutoring, but the cash is limited to her mom at $2,200, which makes sense because that's still a lot of money. It's like
$2,200 in Texas, shit.
And also, it's like it's supposed to be half, so it's like that's $4,400 a month getting spent on a child. Like not many people are doing that. So
Of course.
anything extra, I take care of. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm not someone's income. That's not how it works.
That's dope. So like, what you and your wife, like?
So I'll tell you something about my wife, actually. So she's the reason that the company exists. And it's it's kind of a funny story. So, I was working for a company selling the same stuff now, and I was comfortable. I was making like $20,000 a month. I was playing Call of Duty all day because I already built it, and I was cool with that. And she would be like, "You're home every day. Like, what are you doing?" She started kicking me out of the house. She's like, "You need to go. If you're doing this and you don't even leave the house, imagine what you could do if you got out there and worked." So she started kicking me out of the house, and I wouldn't know what to do. I'd drive around. So then I ended up. She asked like if I had any business ideas and stuff at dinner one night, and I laid out exactly what exists today. And she like encouraged me to go do it. So when she was kicking me out of the house, I went out and I started building this and kind of like looking for those options because I had the support at home. So like prior to my wife, I dated a girl who was like wanted me to come have like lunch with her every day. It's like that's not possible.
Yeah.
So it's a different lifestyle. So she knew what it was gonna, what comes with this.
That's dope.
Yeah, if it wasn't for her, I probably would still have just been in like my day to day. She kind of like challenged me, and then I was like,
that's dope.
And, yeah, she asked me one question which I thought was interesting, which I'm gonna sound maybe a little egotistical, but she said, "Who do you know who's smarter than you?" And I was like, "Nobody." And she was like, "So how come we know people that make more money than you do?" And I was like, "That's actually a damn good question." And it kind of reframed my thinking.
Yeah.
It kind of reframed my thinking like, damn, you're right, probably because I'm being lazy. So I just, went out and started making shit happen.
Never the smartest in the room, and you always elevating. Walking into a room, we was talking about this last episode. When you walk into a room, what's that mindset or attitude? Because I'm going to tell you my answer after.
It changes. Like, it really changes. Like, it depends on the situation. Like, I've walked into rooms where, I am expected to lead and be I'm the biggest one in the room.
Right.
I mean, that's common for me now, which is a weird place to be. But now I'm like, it's like, especially like some of this real estate development stuff I'm trying to do with building this building and building this campus. Now I'm meeting some of the big developers in town and guys who are, like, obviously, I'm in their world. Like, that's not my world. I don't know anything about developing real estate. So I think it's good because you start to learn things from other people. Like, like I had dinner with a guy named Hezi Shaked one time who's an Israeli businessman. He started Tilly's, the clothing brand.
Mm-hmm.
If you look him up, by the way, you talk about cars, he has one of the world's largest car collections, 150 million.
I seen that.
I went to his house. He's got like 10 Bugattis there.
I was about to talk about that Bugatti. God. I seen that thing you posted, that Bugatti. I was like, is that shit in the living room?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was
like,
what the hell?
A Bugatti in the living room.
In the living room, yeah. It's a one-of-one. It was like a custom paint job or whatever. He was like, I asked him how much it was. He said he didn't know.
So what's 20? Like they built it in the living room? Or
no, they just, the doors have like big sliding doors and you just drive it in.
Trey, that's a different type of money.
It's
a different type of
door. I'm trying to figure it out.
There's houses that are designed for that. Like Steve Demopoulos' house, I looked at buying that. Like his house is designed like that too, where it's like you can drive a car in the house if you want to display one. So, at a certain level, cars become more like artwork than like actual drivable cars. But yeah, Hezi, like even just having dinner with him, and he's like 60 something. founder, like kind of the same trajectory, or I'm on the same trajectory that probably he was once, and he like mentioned like, oh yeah, like don't sell the company, go IPO. I didn't know what the hell IPO was at the time.
What is that?
Taking the company public.
Oh, see.
So the advantage of going public is like you can sell. So like there's really 3 options with businesses like goals. There's legacy, which is like you keep building it and it stays in the family and you run it, which is probably more what I lean towards. There's exit, which is like selling it, and then you sell your company and you walk away with, it depends on the industry, but it's a multiple of whatever you profit basically.
So it's like you just build it up and you just
sell it. So like let's say if you get to like 20 million and you're like, okay, I know in my industry I'm going to get 4x that, so it's an $80 million business. I'm going to sell and take my 80 million, right? And then you have IPO, which is like kind of the mix. So it's like if let's say I could go IPO and say it's $1 billion business, let's say, I'm going to sell 20% of my shares on a float, so I'm going to get 20%. I'm going to get $200 million on the IPO, but I still own 80%, so I still operate and control everything. The challenges with that is there's like so much goddamn paperwork to do because you got to do like SEC filings and reporting, and you're like everything has to be so like tight because people now are investing in your business on the public market.
Oh, that's dope.
So that's a good way to like still work and run your business and pass it in your family if you want to. That's what Musk does. I think Zuckerberg as well. I think they're an IPO model. I'm pretty sure it is. So
I think I read something like IPO, but I didn't know what it was. So I'm glad you told me. But I think I was reading an article with Warren Buffett.
Yeah,
Buffett had that. Had a company. And he had it. So that's interesting.
It's initial public offering. Yeah. So that's kind of hybrid. So it's like you can get some money out of the equity of your business while not necessarily selling it. And that's why when people talk about like taxing billionaires and stuff, the one thing people got to realize is like, just because you're a billionaire, usually, like in 90% of cases, it doesn't mean you have $1 billion in an account somewhere. Yeah. It's usually like you could make an art. Like last year, it was very safe to say that I was a billionaire because the company with the revenue models and everything, like it definitely was worth over $1 billion. But like I don't have anywhere close to that. I still got a lot, but it's nowhere near that.
Of course.
That's what I don't realize. So it's like, how are you going to tax that? Like I can't sell a business. It's like saying, I don't know, like your watch is, like this watch is worth X amount, but it's like, okay, but I have to find a buyer, I have to sell it. It's not like I can just be like, oh yeah, and pull cash out of it. It doesn't work that way. Same with businesses. Unless you're IPO. If you're IPO, then you can.
What's the most like high profile person you talk to? What is like the most phrase or knowledgeable thing that you took away from their conversation?
That's a good question. I'd say probably one of the most influential, like, kind of big names in my life has been Bob Knight, the famous basketball coach. My grandfather and him were friends, and, like, I think for me, I can't say if there's, like, one phrase, although there's one phrase I always quote, which I'll give you that in a second, but for me, I think it was kind of just, like, the attitude and, like, what it takes to be successful. You know, like, for him, it was always kind of a no bullshit kind of thing. Like, you just do what you got to do and don't do dumb shit. Yeah. So I think that probably definitely was instilled in me through the relationship with him. The phrase that he used was always kind of like, if you don't know what the right thing to do is, just imagine what you do if I was standing behind you. And I use that one on my kids a lot too, like, because, you know, kids go through all the peer pressure and stuff. I'm like, well, if you're in that position, just think, what would you do if I was standing right behind you? Because I'm kind of strict on my kids. And they know that, like, yeah, Dad's not going for that shit. So I think that's a good one. And then more recently, I was with Patrick Bet-David out in Miami, who's a big, like, business podcaster, businessman guy. I think he's worth, like, probably close to $500 million, a successful guy. And one of the things that he talked about is like edification, which I didn't know what the hell edification meant.
What is that?
It's like praising someone, like kind of speaking like about their successes or whatever. And it's like, I used to obviously praise people in public, like, hey, you did a great job, like we really appreciate what you did, man, you're a superstar. But it's like it kind of ends there, and then they're kind of almost like in a way you discourage other people around them and kind of build that person up too much. So like one of the things I learned from him was like if. So like we brought in our sales team. A guy did something I wanted to do. I'm like, hey, yeah, you know, Steve here. Steve did a great job, man. He came and he introduced himself. He said hi. We're gonna give Steve a $500 gift card. You know, those are the kind of values we're looking for, man. Like, thank you. And then I was like, if, you know, Steve does this out in the field and he does this every day, like Steve will be the number one rep next year, right? So it's like you're kind of like instilling in everyone like, oh, that's what I need to do, without boosting someone's ego up too much. Because there's an if. It's like, but you got to do this every day. It's not just a one-time thing. So those are kind of some of the things that I've learned.
What was that word again?
Games. Edification, edifying someone. I had never heard that shit in my life till last week.
Wait. I gotta up my vocabulary.
Yeah. I didn't know what that shit meant either.
Evil what?
Edify.
Edify.
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah. I didn't know what that shit meant either until last year.
I'm not scared to ask and be like, oh I know what that helps. Because then when somebody talks about it and they ask you a question, now you feel dumb because you could have just asked about it. I'm not scared to find out.
No, you can't. I have a funny story about that. When I first had my first corp dev guys, and these are the guys that like look at like valuations and all that stuff, right? I walk in the room and him and my CFO were like, hey, if we want to hit 550 million in billings next year, what do we have to hit in bookings? And I'm like looking at him, I'm like, well, first of all, I'd have to know what the fuck bookings and billings are. I swear to God, that's what I said to him, and they kind of laughed. But I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right. And then they were like, oh, and I'm like, okay, I would call that sales orders and sales, like it's in my language. I'm like, I don't know what the hell bookings and billings is, so like you just can't be scared to ask. It's like, of course, people sometimes just try to go.
You learn something new every day, so you're never gonna just know shit just by like just hearing it. Yeah, it's okay to ask questions. People nowadays think like, oh, you ask questions about, oh, you're dumb or you're slow. Like, nah, it's just you want to learn something new.
Yeah, that's how you learn.
Exactly.
I'm a sponge. I want to know everything.
Exactly.
My boss used to tell me, he was like, bro, you ask so many questions, but you ask the right questions. He said, I'm not mad at you asking the questions,
a big thing,
but you ask the right questions. Mm-hmm. It'd be different if you just asking dumb shit that you already knew or like you just trying to find. But I want to go deeper. I want to know the why behind the why. Yeah. That's my thing. Yeah. So if you tell me something, I'll be like, okay, now why? Now how to do it? Now, why do you have to do it that way? I just want to know the ins and out of it because I want the core foundation of how it started.
Yeah.
So that's the type of person I am. I want to know the why. And I heard you a gun collector too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a few.
Favorite handgun.
Favorite handgun? I like the Shadow Systems. I think it's an MR920. I think or XR. No, it's an MR. So it's basically the Glock 19. It's like a souped up version. I like that. I like Glock 19s. I've always carried those. But if you've done any training with them, the problem is the mag release button is really hard to hit naturally.
It is hard to hit.
So it's like a little recess. So I used to like carve it out a little bit so you could hit the button. The Shadow Systems is the same gun, but it's been enhanced. So like you can hit that button, it comes out a lot easier. It shoots a little smoother. It's like serrated. So it's like a better system. So that's what I've always trained on. The only other thing I carry is I carry the Hellcat in the summer because in the summer it's like I'm wearing lighter clothes. Mm-hmm. So like a mid-size is a little harder to carry. Compact is a little harder to carry. The subcompacts. It still holds 15, and I can hide that in hell a pair of basketball shorts.
Dre, I ain't gonna. He talking like this. This motherfucker like John Wick.
he got one of them.
I'm not gonna speak on it too crazy, but
one of them Black Rambo collections.
Yeah, bro.
I got body armor. I got helmets,
Dre,
night vision.
You think he about to go to war tomorrow? I was like, damn.
I even got a saw or a M249B, which is like an automatic belt-fed machine gun. Mine's not automatic because it's civilian. I'm trying to buy a range so I can get access to demo weapons.
Bro,
but I haven't found a range to buy.
Call of Duty shit, got that shit.
Oh, he got
all of it, bro.
LMGs, SMGs.
I was like, what the hell is that?
I try to shoot like at least once a month, and then I try to do like a training course like once every 3 months, because it's like rifles are kind of easier to shoot, especially like not long distance. I've never done like long distance, but then like handguns, it's actually surprisingly hard to shoot somebody that's moving with a handgun. I learned that in one of the situations I had, like when the adrenaline's pumping and like it's like life or death and you're trying not to get shot. It's also kind of hard to like actually hit something. So with a handgun,
most encounters is like super close.
That's what I thought, but the two I had weren't.
What?
It was like 15 feet, maybe 30 feet. People are shooting handguns at each other. So it's like with those type of situations, that's when you realize. I used to think I'm good enough to hit someone from like me to that wall, no problem. But like when you extend it out, and then they're moving, and then they're trying to do something to you, and you're trying to do something back, it gets a little more.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It's a little different.
Did you influence Dre? I think you did because he got
Maybe,
some. He got some.
Dre always liked guns though, but
he got some nice shit now. He didn't expand his horizon.
Yeah, probably. It's probably one of those things like he see me buying, he's like, damn, I'm gonna go get one too.
Yeah,
we went to the range together one day. Me, my brother, one of my friends, and Dre. I took all my guns, which I'll never do again because it was so much work just to load them all up and unload them. Now I take like 4 or 5.
So who cleaned all those? That's the question.
We did, but it was like, man, I had a table and it was like just guns stacked up on this table. We shot them all. We're having fun and everything. But I was like, after that, I'm never doing that again, like 4 or 5. It took us like 30 minutes with 4 dudes to just load it and unload it.
Damn. Jesus. And all different type of calibers and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then organizing it's a pain in the ass because you're like, wait, where's the mag for this one? Where's the mag for that one? So it was just not doing that again.
So what's next for you? Like, you got any goals short term?
My biggest goal is building this damn campus. For me, it's like not necessary, but it's one of those things that I think is a big milestone. And it's just something I want to do. I think building that campus would be cool. And then I want to take the company to other countries. We're all across the U.S. right now, but I want to do Europe, Australia, Canada, Latin America, Middle East. So we're gonna work on that probably in 27-ish.
Yeah, you got to go to Iran and tell them to lower them damn gas prices.
Yeah,
Sell
no
them
kidding.
some tissue or something. God damn.
So no, that's probably what's next. Other than that, like all my personal goals are kind of hit. I'm just waiting on my main house to be renovated so I can move in. You know.
Any? We ain't gonna see you at Auto Gallery next week. I mean, that's your spot.
Yeah,
I know he popped out with a new Ferrari.
Shout out Nick at Vegas Auto Gallery, but I don't know. I got too many cars right now.
He said I'm gonna die down on the.
I got
car.
20, man. It's like I don't have anywhere to put it anymore.
Like, I got a question though. When you buy all those cars, and then the new one comes out,
I know he'd be hot.
I'm just gonna buy the new one.
You buy the new ones and then you just keep adding to the collection.
Yeah, you just go buy the new one.
You don't get rid of the old one.
Not always.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of times I just go buy the new one. Like I did that. I had the Aventador SVJ, and SV, and then I traded that in for the Revolto, and then my wife didn't like the Revolto anymore. We got rid of it. Funny enough, my neighbor, who's Jason Giambi, who played for the Yankees, he actually bought the car.
The same one that you sold?
Yeah, came rolling up the street. I'm like, why is it back? And then I pulled in his driveway. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I went over. I was like, it was Halloween.
Well, I got rid of this shit.
It was Halloween. I went over like, hey, this is weird. I made me. And I'm like, but did you buy this? They're like, yeah. I was like, I just sold that to the dealership like 2 days ago.
He could have just drove it to his
driveway.
driveway.
It was probably like subtly programmed. He probably saw it in the driveway a few times. Like, oh, that's a nice car. And then when he saw one for sale like it, he bought it. You know, didn't even realize it. So.
Whole time is the one that was sitting next door.
Yeah. So I got rid of that. The Urus I got rid of that. I'm not a big Lamborghini guy. Ferrari, I just keep adding them. Rolls Royce, I've swapped out a couple, I think. Just like the old Cullinan for the new Cullinan.
I always see on the internet, like, they say you can't do certain things to Ferraris and stuff. Is that a real thing?
Kind of, but not really. Like, they'll say you can't wrap them. You can wrap them. I wrap mine. They work on mine all the time. See, I wrapped them. You can put exhaust kits on them and stuff. It's not a problem. They want stuff that they've approved, like Novatec or Gitani or whatever it's called. The stuff they don't want you to do is, like, change the badges. Can't rip off Ferrari badges. They'll trip about that. If you want to change the interior of your car, make it pink, you can do that. They're not tripping on that.
But you can really get, like, banned from buying a Ferrari?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can go buy Ferrari from somewhere else. Just the Ferrari dealership won't sell you one. So, like.
Look, you don't even know about that shit. You're like, what the fuck?
No, I don't think any other car brand does that, but they can ban you. Like, if I took a Ferrari and, like, did a video lighting on fire, they would say, well, we're not selling you any more Ferraris, right?
Right.
Like, I go to Nick, he'll sell me a Ferrari, you know. So, but the only reason that's a disadvantage is, number one, you can't customize them. Like, you can custom and tailor make yours at Ferrari. And then number two is if you want to get access to, like, the more collector stuff. Like, for example, the LaFerrari was, like, I want to say it was, like, $800,000 when it sold in 2014, 2015. Now they're multiple millions of dollars.
Crazy.
Ferrari, sassy?
Yeah. Like the SF90XX, the new one that came out, I think they're like $1 million MSRP from Ferrari, and now they're selling for like 2.2. And they've only been out for like 3 months. 5 years, it'll be $4 million. So, like, that's why, like, some people don't want to jeopardize that relationship. But if you're just buying one Ferrari or you're never going to buy, like, a Halo car, they call it, it's like, who cares?
I got 2 more questions. I know your time is super valuable. Biggest regret purchase-wise? Anything in life. Biggest regret?
Biggest regret? That's
Anything. It could be from jewelry. It could be from cars. Biggest regret?
Man, I probably just bought too many cars, honestly. There's 2 things that stand out to me. I'd say, like, I bought a fractional thing on a jet. Through Vista Jets. I don't know, some program they got. That was kind of stupid because I was like, I just paid a bunch of money up front to have access to the same shit I could have got charter. So that was stupid. I didn't know though. I ended up suing them, and they ended up actually.
Giving you money
we reached a settlement. I just paid. Well, it was like a 5-year contract, so I just paid out the year, and that was it. Because I'm like, I don't like this. Like, this isn't what I was promised. So, but it was a good experience though. So I'm not saying they're a bad company, but definitely not for me. I definitely bought too many cars. I think 20. It's like it's exciting at first. Now I'm just like, damn, it's just like a headache.
Well, I don't think you're done. I think you're gonna go to 30. We saying that conversation now.
Yeah, I was about to say.
2026.
I can see your collection hitting about 40.
It might. I know plenty of guys that do, but it's like, I don't know. It's kind of a bit of a headache now.
Because it's like, where are you gonna park?
I bought some stuff that's probably overkill. Like, I have like. See, I got more chains than most rappers do. I don't even really wear them anymore.
I didn't want to bring that up, though. But Will, I seen you in the club, man.
Yeah.
You ever have like a club experience where you're like, damn, I wilded out that night? Like,
yeah, I spent like $57,000 in trades one night. That was probably a little stupid. We bought, I think it was like 32 bottles of 1942.
Who the fuck drank all that?
We did.
It had to have been the whole table group full.
Yeah, it was like, it was that big section they had, the King's table they used to have, and it was like, we probably had like 60 people in there.
How do you... 32 bottles of 1940. Like, how? You can only get so drunk.
It would have been more because I know they were bringing it out by the 16s. And I know there was 2 16s, and then we had some extras. So it might have been like 35, 37. But we had a lot of bottles. It was all 1942.
Do you wake up the next day like, fuck, that was a hell of a night?
Yeah.
That boys conversation, like that men conversation, like
No,
the next day gotta be crazy. Like, yo.
So we did that. My wife's birthday last year in Miami. Yeah, that was like, we pretty much stopped going out after that. Like, we went out to Miami. I don't even say how much we spent the weekend, but it was in 7 figures. And we went nuts. It was me. We took 2 private jets there with me, my wife.
Oh, I seen that. And then
a bunch of my friends. We went out there, and we basically just partied for like 4 days straight, barely slept, drinking bottles, like mansions, like everything you can think of. We did everything. So yachts. And like people were sitting there going like, this is unreal. We were on a $48 million Airbnb. It was $48 million, the house. It's right on the ocean. We had a yacht out there with a boat that would take you to the yacht. We had 22 people. We had a hotel for a lot of the guests because only like some people could fit in the house. I don't even know how we picked that. We had security. We had like some like, you know, there's some people that were hanging out with us that are celebrities. Like Duke Deuce was with us most of the time. I think Moneybag wasn't with us, but I saw him and YTB Fat at the club, and then his girlfriend Ari was with my wife. So it was.
Y'all just went to the Super Bowl.
Well,
I gotta say, you live a hell of a life, bro.
Yeah.
When I'm watching from the outside, I'm like, God damn, like a day in the life is crazy.
Yeah, I was with Moneybag and I were together at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I'm friends with his family member, his cousin. So I met him through there, and we've been hanging out. Like I've hung out with him a few times. Like he left Dre's with me one night in the Phantom, and we went to his shit. People were like looking like,
the hell
they're
going
like,
on?
what the fuck is that Moneybag Yo getting some random Phantom out here, which is pretty funny. And then
it was at Mansory, huh?
Yeah.
It's not a random Phantom.
Yeah, it wasn't a random Phantom.
and
then the Super Bowl, I was like, last minute we got a suite because it was like they told me at first it was like $1 million a suite. I'm like, I'm not paying that. So then it got close to the event, and they're like, hey, we got one we can't sell. We'll give it to you for like, I think it was $575. I was like, all right. So I paid the $575 for it, and then I was like, let's start inviting some people. So we invited a few people. I had a jet here take me into the group that was leaving here with me. So it was me, 2 of Bag's cousins. One's like his manager, and then my wife, her friend, who's like got some TikTok stuff going on, and then her boyfriend. So we flew out there on the jet. I'm so like spoiled now. I didn't like the original jet, which is a Gulfstream, had a problem, and then they had to give me a Lear 60, which I hate Lears because they're like smaller and they're older. I was like kind of pissed off, but we got to get there. So we got on this Lear jet, went there. We land, get in the Sprinter, go. Moneybag and Ari meet us there. So they were like in the Sprinter with us. We go to the Super Bowl, and then we went to the suite, and it was funny because even they asked me how much it was, and Bag was like, when I told him, he was like, man, you wild as hell for that.
That's a Bag, literally.
Bag's cool. He's real cool. Ari's cool too. They're a little bit quiet, I think, but I get it because I think a lot of people just like when you always have the attention on you, sometimes you want to be just kind of left alone. But no, they're real cool.
I talked to Bag one day when I was doing security. Yeah. I was helping him go to the car. He was like, man, I can't wait to go home. I can't wait to just be out of here. He said, this shit is so played out to me. Yep. And then I kept telling him, drop the damn Loaf clothing brand. Like, just drop the shit.
Man, they all got them damn Loaf Boy chains on.
Man, like, just drop the damn Loaf clothing. Like, when I went to a Rod Waves concert and we went to the back, I'm like, bro, and I seen him perform, I was like, bro, just drop the damn clothes. Like, what you doing? And then I won the little package, so then I wasn't complaining no more.
Yeah. Nah, he's cool, though. Bag's cool. His cousins are cool. Everyone around him is cool. I know most of them now. And they're good people. Like, they're cool to be around. So I've been around other rappers that maybe aren't as cool, maybe a little more either egotistic or just hard to be around. But they're cool. Yeah. And Miami's fun too. Because every time I go out to Miami, there's always some celebrity in there. Like
you a celebrity yourself.
Nah,
believe it or not.
In the public eye, you yourself is a celebrity too,
you know.
Like,
yeah, I guess.
You've got that.
You see, look,
you're on that pedestal now. Like, yeah, you're humble. I give you that. You're a humble celebrity. Like you don't acknowledge it. Like you don't really think you're at that level.
Unless you pop 35 bottles in the club.
Yeah, that's 30-something bottles in the club. I mean, you're at that level now.
We're going to end it on that note, and that's all the time we have with
740. We've had some wild nights. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. Again, we appreciate you for stopping by, Will. Again, thank you for stopping in with 740. Again, I'm your host, Darshawn. As Dre.
With your host, Dre.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course.